A few weeks ago, we sailed in the best room that we've ever sailed in on Virgin Voyages, which just happens to be one of the best suites available on board. But believe me when I say the journey that we had to reach that suite went absolutely catastrophically wrong. Although the suite that we had in the Virgin Voyages Mega RockStar experience was fantastic, some of the elements of the service definitely weren't. And I want to be really honest with you today when I tell you about our experience that we had with Mega RockStar on Valiant Lady back in May this year. If we haven't met before, my name is David from VV Insider, and we run a website all about Virgin Voyages, including all the information, the guides, and the news that you're going to need to know if you're heading on board the Virgin Voyages ships. We have sailed Mega RockStar once before, but it was only a 4-night sailing and I was really ill throughout the entire time. So when we headed on board Valiant Lady earlier this year, we thought this would be a really good opportunity to try it again. Unfortunately, it didn't go as we planned. So today I'm going to talk you through our experience, the things that we absolutely loved about Mega RockStar, and the things we'd love to see changed if we were to head on board as a Mega RockStar in the future. So there's plenty to go through, so let's jump right in. So I want to start by reiterating that we don't generally sail in the Mega RockStar cabin category, not least because generally it's quite prohibitively expensive. But sometimes, of course, it's fine to be expensive if you're feeling like you want to be a bit extravagant or you're celebrating something, for example. Well, back in May, we actually had a chance to do Mega RockStar without it costing an absolute fortune. We thought this was a nice opportunity to use the upgrade bidding program to try and see if we could get a nicer suite. So we decided to put in a poor to average bid on pretty much every single cabin category that we could, including those Mega RockStar suites. So although we bidded for the massive suite, which of course is the biggest and the best suite available on board, we weren't lucky enough to win that one, nor did we win the Fab suite, which is just under the massive suite, but we were lucky enough to win our bid for the Posh suite. Now for us, this was a bit of a bargain. The going rate for this cabin on the type of sailing that we had, which was a 7-night sailing from Barcelona, would cost somewhere in the region of $12,000 to $17,000 for the week. Well, actually, the total that we paid for it was around about $5,000. So we managed to save an incredible amount of money by using the upgrade bidding program. Now, it's important to say here that if you've used the upgrade bidding program, it shouldn't make any difference to your onboard experience. You should be treated just as you would if you paid the full ticket price, regardless whether you use the upgrade bidding program or not. Which is why when we went into this Mega RockStar experience, we wanted to make sure we got the full experience, regardless of how much we paid. So first of all, I'm going to tell you what you get with Mega RockStar. So this all starts before you even set sail. So you get access to the Red Glove services, which are a dedicated branch of sailor services that is specific to Rockstars and Mega RockStars, and this means that you can get real one-on-one support with your voyage before you set sail. One thing that they do is they'll reach out to ask if there are any special requirements that you have for the room, and this is your opportunity to send them a little bit of a rider. Now, because we're not quite used to the glitz and glamour of this rockstar world, our demands were very, very slight. All we asked for was that there were going to be tons of Diet Coke in the room because my husband Rob does not drink and all he really drinks is Diet Coke. So we just wanted to make sure we had a real good stock of Diet Coke in the room. And apart from that, we just let them know which hotel we were staying at so that they could arrange another perk, which is the exclusive chauffeur private transfer from your accommodation to the port on the day of travel. And you also get that chauffeur transfer when you leave the ship as well. So far so good, and we hadn't been too demanding, or so I thought. So when you arrive to the terminal as a Mega RockStar, you get complete priority. So you are the very first people who are allowed to check into the ship. You're also given an exclusive area with the other Mega RockStars and the Rockstars in a private area in the port where you're given some refreshments as well before you head on board. All of the Mega RockStars will then be taken as a group onto the ship first. So you'll be the very first people heading on the voyage before anyone else sets sail. So that in itself can be an experience that can make you feel very VIP indeed. So when you head on board, you'll head straight up to deck 15, which is where every single one of the Mega RockStar suites is. Now these Mega RockStar suites are the biggest suites on board. These include the massive suite, which are the suites right at the very front of the ship. These include hot tubs, sofas, living rooms, guitars on the wall. You'll even have a bathtub in your bathroom as well. These are incredible spaces with huge balconies, with multiple hammocks, many places to sit down and relax. And crucially, you'll have lots of space in the suite and the balcony to entertain if you want to invite guests and friends back to your suite. And of course, because these cabins are on deck 15, they're right next to the pool deck as well, which is a great place to be, especially for the Scarlet Night pool party, because you can nip back to the room to get changed or use the bathroom and then head straight back to the pool party. It really is the most premium real estate on board the ship for a reason. We were lucky enough to be in the Posh Suite, which is just 2 below the massive suite. So with the Posh Suite, you get this huge entertainment area, which is almost like a living room that's completely separate from your bedroom. It's separated by this internal wall, and it means that you can keep your entertainment space where you're going to have guests around and friends completely separate from the area that you're sleeping and getting ready and changed. You also get a separate bathroom, so guests can use the bathroom without having to look at your toothbrushes and toiletries all over the place. So that's a really nice perk as well. The suite itself was absolutely beautiful, and for me, this was my favorite part about sailing Mega RockStar this time. This suite was absolutely everything. I wish I could have a Posh Suite every time we sail, but like I say, it is generally quite expensive to stay in these rooms. Then that leads on to the balcony, which of course, because you're on deck 15, you have a much larger balcony than usual, and that gives you extra space for some extra furniture as well. Unfortunately, for the Posh Suite and the Fab Suite and all the other suites that isn't the massive suite, you only get one hammock. So maybe my one gripe would be that it would be nice to have maybe an extra hammock on the balcony, but I was certainly not complaining. This room was absolutely spectacular. One other major perk with the Mega RockStar suites is that you will have a mini bar in the room that will be fully stocked and restocked twice every day. So this includes small bottles of popular liquors. So you'll have whiskey, rum, vodka, gin, and tequila. These are a third of the size of a large bottle of alcohol, but like I say, they are refreshed twice every day. So if you're making cocktails, maybe you're making cocktails for friends, if you have them round to your room, then they will be replenished. You also get 2 small bottles of wine and some beers as well. You also get the benefit of being able to buy unlimited alcohol in the bars as long as you order just 2 drinks at a time, and each of those drinks is under $25. So this means you'll always be able to get a glass of Moet champagne at every bar, and it will not cost you a penny. In fact, you can get 2 at a time if you like. But again, if you're a big drinker, it doesn't stop there. You're also able to get 2 bottles every day under the value of $95. So this generally means you're able to get a bottle of wine, but you could also get a bottle of soju at Gun Bay, for example. But again, if you're a big drinker, it doesn't stop there either. If you're wanting any alcohol at all and you're in the suite, you simply need to pick up the phone and ask your Mega RockStar agent, which I'll come on to in just a moment, for any alcohol at all, and they will bring it to the room. This must be on some sort of fair use policy, but when we asked, we were able to get premium champagne, not even just limited at Moet. We got Moet Ice Imperial and Veuve Clicquot, and we weren't charged for that. I don't know where the limit is or if there is a limit, but when we asked and we told them we were celebrating something or we were preparing for the night, they were able to bring these bottles to the room. The rules behind this are very unclear to us, but we didn't find a limit as far as that's concerned. But this for us was just a really nice way to treat our friends with the excess alcohol that we seem to always have about us. We were able to offer drinks to many people, which is a nice thing to do. But if anything, it does feel maybe a little irresponsible how much drink you actually can get. So really this idea of this bottomless bar aspect of Mega RockStar might seal the deal for you straight away, but that's not where it ends. You are also given access to a Mega RockStar agent. So this is somebody that is dedicated to your needs when you're on board the ship. So as I said before, you can ask them for particular things in the room if you're looking for particular bottles of alcohol, or in my case, I was asking for particular items of glassware, so they were able to bring that as well. But they're also there to be able to answer any customer service queries you have as well, which brings me on to the next perk that you get with Mega RockStar. And that is you will always get work from sea Wi-Fi for free. So basic Wi-Fi is included with everyone's fare at Virgin Voyages, but if you're looking for anything quicker, you either have to pay for premium Wi-Fi or work from sea Wi-Fi. Work from sea Wi-Fi is supposed to be the very best Wi-Fi connection you can get on board, and it's supposed to enable you to do things like video calls and streaming and using VPNs as well. Well, unfortunately, this just did not work for us at all during our voyage. The speeds were terrible. We couldn't edit videos. If you were subscribed to our channel at the time, you will know that we weren't able to get our video about Valiant Lady's changes out while we were on board the ship, which is such a shame because our video ended up being quite late because of that. But again, we didn't need to go down to Sailor Services to tell them about this. We were able to communicate that with our Mega RockStar agent instead. So it's nice to have that one-on-one connection with someone to try and resolve issues like that. So this is anything customer service wise across the ship. So if you're looking to book dining or change a dining reservation or a spa experience, your Mega RockStar will be able to organize all of that for you. So that's a very nice perk too. They're also able to do things that you wouldn't generally be able to do in a normal cabin. So if you're looking for a particular snack across the ship, for example, popcorn or pretzels or charcuterie, then you're able to ask your Mega RockStar agent to bring that along and they will bring that to the room. Also, if you want to, and we didn't get the time or the chance to do this, but you are able to organize a private dinner in your room as well. So they can set up a table and bring courses from any restaurant on the ship. I think apart from Test Kitchen and Gun Bay, those are the two that you're not able to. But apart from that, you can get your food served to you in the suite, which is a very, very nice thing. You might want to do that on the balcony if it's a lovely night. Again, we didn't have time to explore that particular perk. Another perk is that you're also able to go in the thermal suite in the Redemption Spa free of charge at any time as well during your sailing. You don't even need to book a time slot. You just take your RockStar robe from the room if you like, head down to Redemption Spa and sign in. You'll be able to use that whenever you like at your leisure. Then there are a few perks that are not just exclusive to Mega RockStar, but also available to RockStar as well. So chiefly of all, you will be given your black wristband, which indicates that you are a RockStar sailor on board. And this enables you to do a few things. The first thing is gain access to Richard's Rooftop, which is a private area only for rockstars and Mega RockStars and VIPs on board. This was a really lovely perk. We absolutely love Richard's Rooftop. It is the most quiet and chill place on board the whole ship because of course the capacity is limited. You're always able to get a sunbed, you're always able to find somewhere in the shade, and you're generally always able to get a hot tub all to yourself. There's also a lovely bar there as well, and from 5 o'clock for a whole hour, you're able to get unlimited drinks from that bar. There is a limited menu, but the menu is quite good, and you can order as much as you like for an hour. Now, of course, because you're a Mega RockStar, you're probably not going to use this perk because you can get drinks anywhere, but for rockstars, that's a really lovely perk. And the Black Band also allows you to skip the queues for pretty much everything. So instead of queuing up for an event with everyone else, there's a separate area for rockstars to be able to queue up and you will be allowed in first. This really feels like a perk for those very popular events like Murder in the Manor or Lola's Library, where finding a good table is really difficult most of the time. Well, because you paid for the privilege, you're able to queue up first and get those good seats. You're also able to use your Black Band to skip the queues for tender boats when you reach a port that requires a tender boat. And also if there's a long line to get back on the ship with security, you can also use your Black Band generally to skip the line there as well. Simply flag down a member of staff. There may also be a RockStar agent outside who'll be able to help you skip the queues. So after I've listed all of those perks, why do I still feel that our Mega RockStar experience wasn't exactly where it needed to be? Well, there was a few things that went wrong for us. One of them, of course, is something that I've already mentioned, which were the strange problems that we had with the Wi-Fi. And I'm going to be careful not to bundle that in with my experience for Mega RockStar because it seemed like there was just some technical fault that happened across the whole ship. So let's exclude that for now. The one thing that I think we didn't really get as part of our Mega RockStar experience, which we expected, because we do of course follow a lot of other cruise creators as part of our job on Instagram and on YouTube, and we've seen many people do Mega RockStar before. And quite often the stories that you hear about the Mega RockStar experience aren't really down to the free drinks that you get and the perks that I've mentioned, but it tends to come down to the Mega RockStar agent really making those special experiences for you and making the voyage as special as possible. Now, when we were on board, although the service was very professional, we didn't necessarily feel like it was extremely proactive. So everything that we got from the Mega RockStar experience, we kind of had to ask for. And this isn't really in line with things that we've seen on social media, where people were entering their Mega RockStar suite and being surprised by a bottle of champagne in the room or a charcuterie board to welcome you back after a long day in port. Or perhaps being asked whether you were celebrating something in particular and having something arranged for it. For example, that perk about having the in-room dining, we were never asked once whether we wanted that experience in the room. Luckily enough, we didn't want it, but I feel like that's something that we would have had to ask for rather than it being offered. And again, because we normally travel in an insider or a sea terrace, these feel like silly complaints. But when you're seeing this across social media and it's being advertised as this very VIP Mega RockStar service, it's a little confusing to be excited for this product that we didn't really end up experiencing. But one of the biggest problems that we had, which really permeated the entire voyage, was this complete debacle of trying to get to the port in Barcelona. So just to set the scene, we stayed in a hotel that was about 3 miles away from the port, so that doesn't sound like an extremely long distance. When we were preparing to head on to the ship, we were told that the taxi was going to arrive about an hour before our embarkation time, which is great. That would have given us plenty time to get to the port in a relaxing manner, and then we'd be able to do that experience where we headed on board the ship with all the other Mega RockStars and felt very VIP and very posh. The problem was we got a phone call to say that our driver was going to be over an hour late. Well, this meant that we were going to miss the entire early embarkation process, and we would eventually be able to board the ship around about 2:30 or 3 o'clock. So we told them of this problem, and rather than get us a different driver or a different car, they just cancelled the journey completely. So we got a message saying that nobody was picking us up at all. So instead, we were left to fend for ourselves and got an Uber instead. The traffic around the port was horrendous, so we ended up getting out of the taxi and walking about a mile with our cases in this incredibly sweaty Barcelona heat. And by the time we managed to get to the port, there was long lines waiting to check in. We eventually saw the area that we would have been waiting in had we arrived actually on time, but instead we were ushered onto the ship halfway through the afternoon, not necessarily that early embarkation VIP experience we were expecting. Now, we do of course appreciate that some of these things are out of Virgin Voyages' control. That's absolutely fine. But we were expecting at the very least to get to our suite and have some form of conversation about what had happened with the transfer, maybe an apology, perhaps a bottle of wine to make up for the inconvenience. Instead, we were left with no explanation what had happened, and we had to bring this up ourselves to the RockStar agent. I will say eventually when we'd messaged the onshore team and we'd messaged the agent that we did get a resolution for those problems, which is fine. We did bring up some of the issues that we'd had with this experience when we got back onto land, and we were waiting nearly 6 weeks to get a response back from Red Glove Services with an explanation about what had gone on during our voyage, but also why it had taken so long to hear back. Now, again, we understand that some problems are outside of people's control, and we also understand that this isn't necessarily everyone's experience of Mega RockStar, and we've seen it ourselves. Generally, the Mega RockStar experience is really, really good, and that's one of the reasons why we're not ruling out doing another one. I just wanted to be really honest with you about this experience that we had with Mega RockStar back in May. Personally, I'm looking forward to doing Mega RockStar again, but it is very expensive. I think we might go down the upgrade bidding route again and seeing if we can do it that way. It's not something that we would do every time we sailed, although we did really, really love the room, and in theory, we would love the service if it all went to plan. If we're answering the question of is Mega RockStar worth it, which a lot of people ask, then I would say as long as everything goes to plan and you don't end up having the experience that we had on this occasion, then it certainly is worth it if you're celebrating something or if you're wanting something particularly special. But for us, we're quite happy normally sticking with our insider or our sea terraces. We will continue to sail that way in the future when we're going on board and trying out the entertainment and the dining. None of that changes. You're still on the same ship, regardless if you got a red band or a black band. Everything that you're experiencing really is the same. The only difference being that you have those extra perks if you happen to have a black band when you sail. And if you're looking to get on board in an Insider or a Sea Terrace or indeed a Mega RockStar suite, then the best place to head is vvinsider.com/book. There you'll be able to see a list of reasons why booking with us is such a good idea. And we've also got up to 200 reasons to book with us by the way of some extra sailor loot that we can give you. So we can give you up to $200 of extra sailor loot when you book your next voyage through VV Insider. So if you're looking for those additional perks and that expert advice that you'll get from us, then please head over to vvinsider.com/book. Every booking you make using that link will support the work that we do. So we really, really appreciate it. As you're watching this, we're actually currently on board Brilliant Lady at the moment in Alaska, experiencing the Alaska Happenings program and those Alaska ports for the very first time. So I'm looking forward to bringing you footage from our trip and explaining the experience that we've had in Alaska. So do keep an eye on your feeds over the next couple of weeks for that very special video coming your way. So make sure you stay subscribed. But until I see you next time, happy sailing.